Hey everyone, welcome to the Align Your Life Wellness Show. Thank you so much for being here. We are here every Wednesday at 1 o'clock p.m. You can find us. Today my guest is Jodi Patsiner, who I will introduce in just a moment. Welcome, Jodi. So excited to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for
Awesome.
asking me.
Oh, absolutely. The Align Your Life Wellness Show is all about empowering people towards living a life of enrichment and bringing you information and tips that serve your greater good and well-being. So again, you can always find us every Wednesday at 1. Welcome whether you're watching live or listening to the playback online. We're glad that you're here. My name is Jenny Parks. I am a health and prosperity coach. So essentially, I help people achieve their health goals, balance their bodies out, and transition into a healthier lifestyle. Today, again, my guest is Jodi Patsiner. Jodi is the owner of Kindred Heart Services. She's all about assisting people with discovering peace in the present moment. Who does not want that, right?
Yeah.
She's a certified facilitator of the work of Byron Katie, as well as a certified Reiki practitioner. She's served communities in a wide variety of areas, both here in the U.S. and abroad, and she's just done so much. So we're going to touch on some of that and some of what she has going on, the events and things that are coming up for her that she's offering, and how she can assist you as well. So let's start with the work of Byron Katie. I am somewhat familiar. I had the pleasure of going to a meetup group that you hold once a month or twice a month?
We're once a month now. We're shooting for twice.
Okay, I
I'd
knew
love
you were in there.
to meet weekly. That would be the goal. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that, and we'll talk about that too, so people know where to find you there. But I love, first of all, that it's called the work, because anything that we do in life to improve ourselves, to move beyond any fears or anything that we're working through, it's work, right? It's not going to come necessarily easy, but I don't think it's hard either. So it's that state in between, but it's actually can be some work involved, and that is really what you assist people with, is working through fears, any maybe self-limiting beliefs, thought processes, preconditioned thinking patterns that hold people back, keep us overwhelmed, stuck in states of anxiety. Is that correct?
Perfect. It's perfect.
Fantastic.
And it makes me feel good that you got the concept from coming to the meetup and
absolutely.
doing that experience. It's like, yay, I did my job there.
Absolutely.
The work is a way of first identifying thoughts that create everything you just expressed. Stress, suffering, depression, anxiety, just that angst. Sometimes I call them paper cuts. It could be the simplest thing where you're driving a car, right? And the guy's not going fast enough in front of you and you're scared you're going to be late. You think that's no big deal, but then you get it that I'm going to be late, and then they're going to get mad at me. And then, it's like all those
Domino.
and thens. Right. And what does it really mean? So first we identify the thoughts that create the suffering, and then we investigate them with what's called inquiry. And inquiry is 4 simple, miraculous questions. So we take a thought like, she doesn't like me, right? And you question it, is it true? And you find a specific situation, is it true? So here I'm sitting here and I find my specific situation and I'm envisioning it as if I were there. Next question is, can you absolutely know if it's true? If you answer yes to the first one, you go to number 2. If you answer no, you go to number 3. Number 3 is, how do you react? What happens when you're believing this thought? And that is the information when your mind is open and you're really sitting in that specific situation, really reliving it, which to me is courageous.
Absolutely.
That's why it's called the work too. It's so courageous to grab that moment in time again and really see what's happening when you're believing that thought. Like, oh my gosh, my body's tight. I'm not looking at her. I cut myself down in my mind. I make her better than me. Whatever happens, right? And then the next question is, who would you be without that thought? And that has been the mind-blowing experience.
That's
for
a
me.
big one, yeah. For
Yeah,
so many people. Well, not to cut you off,
Yes,
but
okay.
So many of us do live in our heads and in the stories in our head, and we do think about the things that we would like to create in our lives, or the person we'd like to be, or the things that we could do, but we think that we can't. But we're so infinite and so full of possibility that we can. So
Yeah.
that's a deep one.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yes. And then we go to the 4th question, who would you be without the thought? And there sit in that same situation. It's not negating reality. Here's the thing going on. But who would you be without that thought? Couldn't believe that thought. and see what's happening. I'm looking at her in the eyes. My body's relaxed. I'm comfortable. And then we do what's called the turnarounds, where you take the initial statement and turn it around. And turn it around to yourself, where it's, I don't like me. Well, why I don't like me in that moment? Because I'm judging me, I'm judging her, and find specific examples to that. And then turn it around to the other. I don't like her in that moment. Is there something that's happening where, get real? Like maybe there's something going on where, I'm projecting my stuff where I really don't like her. Right?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of times what we see in other people that we don't like is something we feel about ourselves, right? It's a mirror.
Always.
Always, yeah.
Always the projector, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the projector.
Mm-hmm.
And then the opposite is she does like me. And to come up with examples there. And it's a prescription for happiness. It's really about freedom and peace. It's really looking at what you thought happened and seeing the different perspectives of what perhaps really happened in that moment in time. And that thought we've lived all of our lives.
All of our lives. And that's what makes it the work, because it is something that we easily fall back on. It becomes, in our minds, a little bit more easy to just stay stuck in that position than to actually move beyond it. But once you get started in that process, and I think especially the key is having the support, someone to take you through the process and assist you with that, you start to understand that being in that stuck place is really what was difficult and hard and uncomfortable. People say that's my comfort zone, that's where I like to be.
Right.
Once you step out, you realize that it's truly the most uncomfortable spot to be. It reminds me of what we were talking about before we started the show, about when I first started doing the show. I knew that when I was asked if I wanted to do this, and the fear that came up inside of me made me want to say no. And had I been asked 2 years ago, there's no way I would have done it. But I've been on this kind of path of, stepping out of my own comfort zone for the last couple of years, and everything that scared me, I would do.
Yes.
And you do become a bit more comfortable, but you also realize that you're just going to grow so much more because of it. And so many other possibilities come into your life when you get into that headspace, rather than that anxious, overwhelmed, crazy headspace that we sometimes tend to stay in.
Where then I'm not here with you.
Exactly, not present.
I am so not here with you, and I love that you're bringing this up, because we were just saying how I could feel like when I was a swimmer that I could feel the adrenaline going up and down on my neck, and that how through the years of doing the work and that I've shifted it from fear to excitement.
Yes.
It's like, here it is. I'm excited about this. This is going to be so much fun.
Perception is such an amazing tool, because so much of what we look at and we assign a story to, or we assign some kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? We call it something, a belief or a label.
Yes,
a label.
Yeah.
When we really get down to it and really get honest and look at it as, through the process that you just described, we can see how so much of what we believe is just a perception. And when we change that perception, you realize how much of what you thought really wasn't true to begin with, and the other side can be just as true. So we have to take a quick break. I could talk about this all day. So we have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back to learn more about what Jodi does in her work and how she can assist you, and really what the work is all about. Be right back. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the Align Your Life Wellness Show. Here with my guest today, Jodi Patsiner. She is the owner of Kindred Heart Services, and she is a certified facilitator of the work of Byron Katie. So let's talk about that, where that all originated, where that started, and really what led you to doing this as your life's work.
Yeah. So I found the work in 2004, and I was participating in a dance movement class. The Wave, it's Gabrielle Roth. I don't know if you, yeah, it was like that, but a little more terrifying,
Roth,
right?
yes.
You had to really embody yourself, and it was beautiful. And there was a woman in the class that I was just drawn to. I ended up becoming friends with her, and she happened to be part of Byron Katie's community at the time.
Oh, awesome.
You know, and helping and assisting with moving the work in the world. You know, I like to call this yeah, I love that. A peace movement.
Yes.
Otherwise known as poof.
Yes.
And yes.
That's great.
Love it. And that's the thing too, for me it's a love fest.
Yes.
Also.
I love that word. I
I
heard you say that at the event that I came to, and I love that, yes.
So I met this wonderful woman and started to talk with her. She became a volunteer. I was working for a hospice at the time. And we would do the work. I was having a hard time in my life, and she turned me out to the work, and then I went to my very first school for the work. And if you go to thework.com, you could see all these events. Everything's for free. Byron Katie, this came alive in Byron Katie in 1986. And right now I'm thinking I want to invite you to get the book, Loving What Is. That's the first book that she wrote, published book that she got written. And I want to call it's just heaven for me. It really helped free me. And from that, you know, she was depressed. She wouldn't leave her house for over 3 years. She went to a treatment center, and she would sleep on the floor because she hated herself so much. And she woke up. She had an awakening one day at this treatment center, laying on the floor. And you have to read it from the book because I'm not going to do it justice, but you'll love this story. But from that, she got it that it's, you know, our thoughts that create the suffering, believing the thoughts. So it's thoughts, and then feelings, and then actions. Do you know, it's the thoughts. So question the thoughts.
Yeah, man, I love so much of what you just said, and where to begin. One of the things that came up in my mind as you were talking about the thoughts, the feelings, I remember coaching someone through just transitioning over into a healthy lifestyle, and they were talking about how they were feeling weepy and kind of sad and moody, and I was trying to explain, well, you know, it's part of the process, the body, blah, 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 and they're like, oh, I'm not worried about it, they're just feelings.
Yes.
They're just feelings. They don't define us. They aren't who we are. They're part of our human nature. And so I think what the work does too is it helps you to almost come out of your body to just notice those feelings when they come up, and to not be so attached and living inside of them that you do end up on the floor. Or if you are on the floor, it's going to assist with picking you back up.
Yeah, and you said out of your body, and I'm trying to sit here and think, because my last year has been such a wonderful adventure in embodying the feelings, you know.
Yes.
Also, it's just like, so to use the work to really get the image, see what happens, and also give myself the consent to just be in the present moment for however it's showing up. Do you know, it's about meeting reality where it is, and for myself, my experience has been just about being in that present moment, where if other things come up, then that's where I get to take it to the work too. What's keeping me from this present moment? Yeah,
and just accepting what is. So, you know,
here it is.
So
Dear
much,
God.
I mean, how often, and I know I have done it in my own life, have you fought against what reality is? Mainly because you're telling yourself stories about what isn't even true. And then you're staying in this vicious cycle. And so whether it's like the example that you gave when we first started about being in traffic and you know, maybe getting a little anxious because you think you're going to be late, or you're like Byron Katie and you're on the floor in your life for 3 years not leaving your house. The depth of it, where you're at in your life, doesn't matter. The work can assist anyone, because we're always works in progress. So it doesn't matter where we're at in our life. You know, maybe we've been on the floor and we're not anymore. Maybe we've never been on the floor. It doesn't really matter. It's where you're at right now, and how can this assist you with really becoming present, because none of us are 100% present all the time, right?
It's just kind of thinking, I love what you just said, because my next thought is thinking that I don't want to have thoughts anymore.
Yeah.
That's just as silly to believe, right? Like any
Oh my gosh, don't we
Buddhist
have 60
practitioner
to
or meditation.
80,000 thoughts a minute or something, or a day? I don't even know what it is, but it's astronomical.
Tons of them.
You're not going to shut that off.
Right, same thing.
But yeah, you can learn to work with it instead of against it. So what does it look like when people come to you? Are you working one-on-one? Are you working over the phone? Are there different package options depending on where a person's at? What is that?
Yes,
all look like?
I do all the above.
Okay.
So I work with people. My I want to use the word specialty or primary focus is what I've lived in my life, which is people who are in addiction recovery. I have 31 years of sobriety, and I love sharing my experience. I'm grateful. And so I love working with people who are in recovery or even want to be in recovery. And then caregiver. I've been the ultimate caregiver since, I mean, in my mind, since I popped out of the womb, who knows? But
It's just your nature.
Just my nature. I'm grateful for that too.
Yes.
Grateful for that too. And my experience has been that it took me a long time to be able to care for myself. Do you know? Because I started getting angry and upset and stressed and, feeling like I had 100-pound weights on my shoulder. And it's like, oh gosh, I got to do something here. And the work has shifted it so much.
That is amazing.
So I get referrals from other friends. It's a new practice, so it's really fun and exciting.
Awesome.
And so I'll work one-to-one with people. I'll go and do workshops. I've done a couple workshops for friends who are in addiction recovery where they've brought the people that they sponsor plus other friends. And I like the number 12. It's a nice intimate group to not any, to really pay attention to everybody that's there.
To be present.
To be present, thank you. And I'll also do workshops. I do the meetups.
Yes.
My intention is my background's in gerontology and long-term health care. My intention is to get a hold of nursing homes, assisted livings, independent livings. I was trained to be a nursing home administrator. It feels like a funny thing to say, another life. You know how you have those many lives?
Absolutely.
To go in there and really support the caregivers that are there and do the work there. So we can work, like you said, with any thought. I can work with any thought. But those are my two primary focuses. And I'll work with anybody. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know that self-care is important to you, as you mentioned, and that you do offer that for caregivers as well. So let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about that, and then some of the events and things that you have coming up.
Great.
We will take a quick break. Be right back.
Thanks.
everyone. Welcome back to the Align Your Life Wellness Show. I am Jenny Parks here with Jodi Patsiner of Kindred Heart Services. We've been talking specifically about one of the modalities that she offers her clients, which is the work. She's a certified practitioner of the work of Byron Katie. And she also does a few other things. She's been involved in a lot in her life, and she has the most interesting story of just how you came to be where you are. And I love her website, so she'll tell you how to get in touch with her, so definitely check that out. But one of the things I know that's important to you is self-care, and that really resonates with me because that's really important to me as well, and it's something that I see so many people just putting that on the back burner, when that, in my mind, is 100% the most important thing that you can do for yourself, because how can you show up in your life without taking care of yourself? You specifically help caregivers with self-care, because clearly caregivers probably have a mental block when it comes to caring for themselves sometimes, or feel like maybe they don't have time. They're always putting their time, effort, and energy into other people. So what does that look like? How do you assist caregivers?
Yeah, so I want to say this before I get into that.
Sure.
Ever since I was little, I've loved being with kids, and I've loved being with elders, right? And I'd be so confused in between. Right? I'd listen to them.
Oh my gosh.
What are they talking about?
Yeah.
It's just like, what's going on here, right? And so I worked with elders, and I thought, okay, let's do all this work with elders, and let's help bring back community and connect community so people aren't being so confused. If I were to say what I do, if I put it in a few words, is what I help people do is remind themselves who they are by taking their confused mind to inquiry and create clarity. That would be the easiest way to say it. And so I worked with elders for a long time, and then I realized I still love being with elders. So much fun, and kids too, and now even everybody in between. But
you've done your work.
Yeah, I've done my work. Still working, but I've done my work. So I realized, from being a caregiver and then witnessing caregivers working in assisted livings and working in nursing homes, that here they have their own children, then the elders that they take care of, and then where are they on the list? Like way down here. And just to have the physical manifestations that happen with them, sick often, right?
Yeah, right.
And the emotional things that happen, and the guilt and the shame of wanting to be able to help somebody else when they're not even connected to doing the things that are important to them. And so, like I was saying, I wanted hook up with assisted living and the continuum of care of nursing homes. But what I do is when I meet with a person who is a caregiver, we talk about what's going on in their lives. And I listen. And then what I do is I grab the thoughts, right? And initially what we do is we just dive right into the work first so they can get a taste of the work. And then after that, and I also invite them beforehand to take a look at the book and to go to the website and to look at some of the videos of Katie doing facilitation. And, but I for me, I was hurting so badly, I really needed to dive in. And that's what my friend did with me. And that's how I do it with other people first. And then you'll see on the website, there's a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. There's resources where you glean the thoughts that are also happening in that present moment, and we do the work on those. It's really a magnificent process, really magnificent.
I love that you do pay attention to self-care, because, and I think this is mentioned on your website somewhere, just about how, without noticing it when we're not taking care of ourselves, it's so much deeper than the physical ailments, but it does cause sickness, and it's dis-ease in our body, which disease is just a form of your body not being at ease, right? And so it can cause a lot of energy blockages, and then that melts into everything else, self-limiting beliefs, and just so many different things. And it's much deeper than eating your kale every day, or going for your walk in the morning. Those are great forms of self-care, certainly. And I'm obviously a huge proponent of that. I've talked about that on the show before, but this is it's all intertwined, right? And that's Align Your Life Wellness. It's just there's so many different pieces to the puzzle, and what you're helping to do is facilitate that and bring that all together, so it's a much more peaceful coexistence for people.
Yes. And what if you go to bite that kale, which you're thinking that you don't like, right?
Which kale is kind of gross, I have to say, but go ahead.
And it's and how it would be if you, I know this sounds so silly, but how it would be if you met that piece of kale with peace instead of going, ooh, I don't want to eat this.
Yeah.
And picture that when you're walking into a room of someone that you're serving. right?
Yes.
And you're
Or
all
when-
stressed out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Before you
I
even
didn't
get
cut you
there.
off. Yeah, exactly. You're all stressed out before you even
Yeah.
get there because you're stuck
Yeah.
in your head, or you're with someone that you were saying earlier you don't like or you think doesn't like you, and all of a sudden there's a wall. So how can you peacefully
Separation.
exist? Yeah.
Exactly.
So, oh
Yeah.
man, could we not talk about, who could not talk about this all day?
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah, we could.
So,
I could do it with
she's
you.
coming back for sure,
Oh,
right?
thank you. Yes.
I mean, I
I'd
don't know
love
if
to.
she is, but I'm telling her she is.
I'd love to.
We
I'd
can't
love
even,
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've just kind of
Yeah.
gotten on the very, very, very surface of all of this and the amazing work that you do and the amazing ways you help people. So I'm excited for that. We'll announce that when we figure all of that out and what that's going to look like. In the
Beautiful.
meantime, I know you have so much going on. So you do offer workshops and classes, and of course, people can
do.
find you on your website for the specific one-on-one services. So
Yes.
let's talk about that. What's coming up?
Great. So first thing that comes to mind is the meetup group at the Playful Soul, which is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful place.
Yes,
I
it
need
is.
to do a shout out there for Vicki and the gang and Haley and Laura. Go to the Playful Soul website and you'll see other things that have to do with self-care besides it's mind, body, spirit. And so I do that the second Wednesday of every month. And then I have at Unity Church, the wonderful folks at Unity downtown Indianapolis, Carla and the gang, they're wonderful there. On August 12th, I think it is. Double check Unity's website. I think it's August 12th. I'm doing a workshop there at 12:15, a 2-hour introduction to the work of Byron Katie. And then I have a self-care for the caregiver event going on. And so what we've done, and I'm so happy you're going to be a part of it.
I am too. I am just so honored
Very
and so excited. Go ahead.
Yeah, so exciting. So I'm going to bring in everything that I have been moved to do for myself into this experience as a caregiver. So it's going to be 6 2-hour sessions starting August 20th at the Jewish Community Center, and so grateful for them and providing the space, and my friend Lori is so grateful. And we're going to be doing, the first 2 hours will be experiencing the work, because it's something that you get to have for yourself, that you want for yourself. That's the whole thing, is it's for you to be able to take it home and do it for yourself. Then the next one is going to be incorporating meditation in the work. Then we're going to incorporate yoga in the work, nutrition in the work, finance in the work. How many of us are, I mean, that is just
Biggie.
brings you to your knees, right? And then play. Oh my gosh, we don't play.
No.
So we're
We're
incorporating.
here to play and we don't play.
Yes, every aspect of how to take care of ourselves. So I hope you'll join us. It's August 20th, and I believe September 24th is the last one, Thursday nights from 6:30 to 8:30. And I'll be putting things up on my website under the events page for you to hook up and see what else is going on.
That is so exciting. I'm so looking forward to the 6-week series and just
happy
to be
to be
a
there.
part of it too. Yeah, I'll be talking about the nutrition piece of that, but I just love it because again, it goes back to just aligning all of those pieces and trying to get all of those to come together and peacefully exist. Where can people find you?
You can find me at, so sorry when I laugh here because I sound like an infomercial here. You can find me at www.kindredheartservices.com, which is the truth. You can find me at kindredheartservices.com. And I have an email through there, and I've been told recently that it's kind of not working. So I put on my regular email also too, it's chefahart@gmail.com, and you can also, please call me, don't hesitate.
You might spell the Gmail.
Oh, thank you. The Gmail is SHEFAHEART@gmail.com. And then my number is 317-517-8500.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jodi, for being here. Just
Thank
love you to
you.
death, and I'm
So
so
much
glad
fun.
that we met. We haven't even known each other that long, but you're such a kindred spirit. I feel like I've known you forever, and
Same.
so she'll
Same.
definitely be back so that we can dig a little bit deeper into the work and some of the other things that Jodi does. In the meantime, we have some things going on I want to announce. I know we're past our time, but this week in Hamilton County TV will be out at the 4-H Fairgrounds with live coverage Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be there. Jennifer Johnson will be there. We'll be talking to the kids and chatting people up. So I hope to see you out there as well. Come join us. Next Tuesday, July 21st from 7 to 8 o'clock p.m., I'll be at Practical Hypnosis in Fishers doing a health and wellness presentation. So come out there. It's a free hour just to discuss nutrition and your health goals and things like that. You can find me at my website, alignyourlifewellness.com. Easiest way is Facebook, or email me, Jenny Parks at alignyourlifewellness.com. My number, 317-945-8268. Thanks so much for being here again, guys. We have so much fun doing this show. We will see you again next Wednesday at 1 o'clock p.m. Heather Bischoff will be back. See you then. Take care.